California hates landlords and other housing news for 2024.
You are listening to Home Sellers Advantage. I'm Aaron Zapata, your co-host.
And I'm Todd Anderson, your other co-host. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Properties, and we are here to give you the Home Sellers Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv. Or you can call us at 833-305-BALD.
That's 833-305-2253. Give us a call today.
Happy New Year, everybody. This is our last show of the year. Welcome back. We're so glad that you've joined us and that you are here, the faithful, the few. We actually have a growing audience, and we're super excited about that because more and more people are sharing the episode. Yeah. More people are liking it. They're downloading it on their podcasts, and they're watching us on YouTube.
We have a growing audience, but you know what?
We don't have a growing hairline.
Not a growing hairline, that's for sure. It will continue to recede in perpetuity.
That's right. So thanks for tuning in. We have a great episode lined up for you today. We're going to just lay out for you some of the housing issues that we're facing in California. If you are a landlord, you are already feeling the pinch and the squeeze of being a landlord in California. And they're about to make it a little bit harder, maybe a lot bit harder for you as a landlord.
Yeah, a lot harder. And you know, it's always been difficult to be a landlord in California. In fact, we've had several clients. We have had several people we have worked with who we have helped to sell their holdings in California, and they've just rolled it over 1031 exchange into properties out of state.
Yep.
Just due to some of the difficulties that are inherent with owning investment property in California.
So we're going to share some stories that we have not only personally experienced, but we have also talked with individuals who have relayed them to us first person in the last year, and it's going to get worse. And then we're also going to talk about what's going on with the housing development issues in California. There's a new thing that passed this year in 2023 that's having a huge effect on cities. It's called the Builder Remedy. And we've got links to all of these articles and these things we're talking about today in our show notes. And so let me just say, there's a lot changing in California.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is called the Home Sellers Advantage. And so we're talking about these things because we want you to know what's coming so you can make an informed and educated decision about your future. You may choose to sell.
Yep.
And if you do, we want you to give us a call.
Yep.
Because we sell homes.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what you all said. That was our call sign.
That was.
We sell homes. That's what we do.
That's right. So let's just get into it. We've got an article here that we're going to talk about the new laws for tenants coming in 2024.
Yeah, new laws for tenants. And one of the things that's addressed in this article is the issue of security deposits. Now, when you own a property and a tenant is going to come in, normally you will have them pay a security deposit. The purpose of that is so if there is any damage done to the property at the time that the tenant leaves, that will be taken out of their security deposit. They'll be refunded the security deposit less any repairs that were made. Now, these repairs are normally supposed to be above and beyond regular wear and tear issues, and normally receipts have to be shown for that. But there's a cap that has been placed on it, and this new bill caps the amount a landlord can charge to 1 month's rent, and that is it. Previously, you could go more than 1 month's rent, but this basically caps it at 1 month's rent. And, you know, when there's extensive damage to a property, 1 month's rent might not cover that.
And this is regardless of whether or not the home is furnished or unfurnished.
Yes.
So if they're going to charge $3,000 a month, that is the maximum that your security deposit can be. It used to be that you could charge other things up front, maybe a pet deposit, all those kind of things. Now it's all lumped together, so you can't go nickel and diming a tenant. And so that limits your ability. And if you have had a tenant at any given time, as I have, you know that when you have to give notice or when they give voluntary notice, that oftentimes they just say, I'm not going to pay that last month because you already have it on file.
Yeah.
And so it is really hard already to collect the last month's rent.
It is.
And now they're basically not allowing you to recoup anything more than 1 month's rent in terms of a security deposit.
Yeah. So it's removing some of the leverage that a landlord, a homeowner would have. So that's a big, significant issue. There's another issue that was brought up in this article, and this can really be a big one. And by the way, this is also why it's so important to properly screen your tenants before you get them in. And we've worked with lots of investors and actually helping them get tenants in the home. That's not our primary thing, but it's a service that we extend to some of our clientele. And one of the things that is happening is that there are evictions based on alleged criminal activity. Tenants cannot be evicted based on calls to law enforcement, any sort of suspected criminal activity or other alleged so-called nuisance activity. Now, that can be a big deal because criminal activity can have a significant impact on the actual physical home itself and the marketability, the resaleability of that home.
Yeah, and so think about that. Somebody is known to be having illegal activity in your home.
Yeah,
that you rent.
They've got a meth.
To them.
They got a meth lab.
Yeah,
which have a tendency to blow up, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now the terminology is loosely defined here. It just says you cannot evict them based on calls to law enforcement, suspected criminal activity, or other alleged nuisance activity. So now I would say that if there is a actual crime, an actual criminal activity filing or something that potentially you could still work through that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It's hard.
Yeah, but the thing is, going back to my meth lab scenario, if there is an actual crime, that might be one thing. But the thing is that a homeowner does not have the right just to walk onto the property.
Right.
There has to be notice given ahead of time. So it can be, in some cases, very difficult to get to the point where there would be the proof of such crime. Right? I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it basically delays. You can't call somebody and just say, hey, look, you are really a bad neighbor for everybody. And if it's an apartment, maybe, like, you still can't do it. Like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
It just makes it hard for landlords. Here's the next one. No fault, just cause evictions. Effective April 1st, 2024, landlords will have a harder time evicting tenants under the no fault, just cause policy.
And this is no joke, right? Not an April Fool's joke?
That's true. Why it goes effective April 1st, I'm
funny.
not sure. It's a joke. The current policy allows landlords to remove a tenant if the landlord or somebody in the landlord's family is going to move into the unit. The new law requires that the family move in within 90 days of the eviction and then live there for at least 12 months. So you can't move your cousin in for a month and then sell the property. Now you have to move in and live there for 12 months before you can use that reason for eviction.
That one's a little bit confusing to me. Yeah. So there's a time limit there.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So just, again, it delays the ability for a owner to move in and sell a property if that's what they want to do. Yeah. Especially if they are a seller trying to get out of California, which brings back to who we are. Who are we, Todd?
We are Home Sellers Advantage.
That's right. And you're just tuning in. We're talking about new tenant laws for 2024. But we'd like to encourage you to head to our website and listen to our podcast. And if you are listening to this on our podcast, there's one thing that would be really helpful for us. What is that?
That is to give us a call.
No, leave us a 5-star review.
Oh, give us,
yes.
No, hold on. Let's back up.
Back up.
Give us a call and tell us how much you appreciate and love the show.
Yes.
I'm redeeming myself here. How much you love the show, and then we will say, you know what, if you love the show so much, why don't you give us a 5-star review?
That's right.
Will that work?
Yes, that'll work. Yes, we'd love a 5-star review. Share it, bookmark it, whatever you can just to get the word out. We want to bring you real estate news, real estate things going on in California in an environment where you can enjoy it because a lot of what's happening in real estate is not very fun. But you and I have a lot of fun.
We do. We do have a lot of fun. We've got a lot of stories to share. We've experienced a lot of different things. Leave us a review. And by the way, if you want to give us a call,
833-305-BALD, 833-305-BALD.
I just let you do that all by yourself.
Let me sing it.
I thought about coming in. I was like, no, he's going for it.
I'm going to
let him do it.
Okay, but now we got to do it together.
Aaron loves to sing.
Now we got to do it together.
All right.
You lead worship at your church. Are you kidding me? And I have nothing to do with that. So 833-305-BALD.
833-305-BALD. All right, there you go. You got it out of me.
Thank
So
you.
you can call that number. That's 833-305-BALD 2253.
Dude, call us.
Or go to baldbrothers.tv. Baldbrothers.tv.
That's right.
And you can get all of our links and all of the information there.
Yeah.
By the way, we didn't mention on the last show, we should have mentioned that if you go to our website, there is a place you can actually go and get community information on some of the communities in Southern California with links to some of the things to do and community resources and all of that stuff. That's over there on our website as well. We encourage you to check it out.
Yeah.
So we are talking about how California hates landlords.
We hate you.
We're talking about some of the changes for 2024, and right now we're kind of going down a list of changes as it pertains to landlords.
And before we get to the next one, let's just talk about eviction. There's a story here that I read about, and this landlord had a rental, and the tenants decided to do that house hacking thing and bring in another tenant to rent one of the rooms. So they sublet a room.
Okay,
without the knowledge or permission of the landlord. So they ran an ad on Craigslist. Person applied. This lady moved in, and immediately she started just wreaking havoc with the people. To the point where the actual tenant said, "We can't stand it anymore. We're out of here.
We can't stand our own sublet, so we're leaving.
So we're out of here." Well, that was the whole plan. From this lady, because she moved in, and then she didn't pay any rent, and it took the owner over a year to get her out. Because she, was not on the paperwork, had no security deposit. She hired attorneys. She created all these issues. The article, not the article, but it was a Twitter post where this person said that their tenant had to respond to 241 interrogatories, which are costly and expensive. And it costs them tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees. And every time they go to court to get the eviction, boom, the court would postpone the case, or some objection would be raised that the court would say, okay, then we're going to postpone it. It just took over a year.
Yeah, and probably what's happening is, so they're spending a lot of money in legal fees, but probably, I don't know this to be the case, but more than likely, with that kind of tenant, they tend to not take care of the property.
Right.
So more than likely, you have also a reduction in the quality of the home, which if you go to sell it, it's going to have an overall impact on the resaleability of the home.
Todd, I agree with you in most cases. In this cases, because she was not paying any rent, she had a very nice lifestyle. They said they went in there.
Oh, really?
And big screen TVs, lots of nice things. She's living for free.
That's true.
And they found out that she had done this before.
And
it is like that she'll do it again.
Wow.
Because the tenant sublet it to her, and she gets in without any security check, without any credit reference, without any background check. And so just be careful, landlords. It is stacked against you. I have a friend right now. They've spent over $100,000 to evict somebody, and they've been in the process for over 2 years in the Inland Empire.
Well,
wow.
Hey, listen, we know this is shocking. Don't shoot the messenger. We're just reporting the news, and this is not to say that owning a home as an investment property is a bad thing. That's not what we're trying to say. We're just saying that
do it somewhere else.
Do it somewhere else. What we're trying to say is that you got to be careful. You have to go in eyes wide open. That's why I said with one of the previous points, it's important to make sure that you properly screen your tenants. Now, you're not going to be able to catch everything.
Right.
But really know going in some of what you're signing up for and the potential issues that you might be dealing with. And so this is just the way it is, owning investment properties here in California.
It is, and if you're looking to hire a realtor that has experience with tenant relationships, obviously you want to give us a call. If it wasn't obvious before, it should be now. We would love to talk to you. We've had to go all in on these things. We've had... unfortunately, we've had to have tenants arrested for trespassing. We know the whole game.
We have dealt with tenants. We have dealt with situations where we've gone into properties where we didn't even know who the tenants were.
Right.
And we had to do the hard work of knocking on doors and getting information and finding out what they were paying. We've kind of seen it all when it comes to investment properties that have tenants.
Right.
And so if you have such a situation, or perhaps you're inheriting one,
Yes,
give us a call,
that's a big
because that is a big deal. If you're inheriting an investment property that you know nothing about and the decedent hasn't given you any of that information, that can be a hassle. And we've dealt with those situations as well. So, and in all of those situations, we have had happy endings,
right?
But every single one is its own story and its own trajectory of how we deal with those tenants and take care of getting it to be able to
Let's
market.
say happy endings for the landlords.
For the landlords.
And the property owners. Okay.
That's true.
We also have a list of investors who will buy properties with existing tenants. So if that's something that you're like, I don't want to have to evict them, I just want to get rid of the property, you're going to sell it at a discount, guaranteed.
Yep.
But we have buyers that will buy it and take over that headache.
And in some cases, that might be worth it to sell it at a discount.
Totally. We sold 2 of those last year.
Yeah.
Where the buyer bought it and had to evict a total of 5 different tenants.
Yeah.
And that's a headache. And honestly, the inheritant family, the people that inherited the property, they didn't have the resources, the legal skills to do that. Yeah. And so that was the best thing for them.
Yeah.
And it could be the best for you.
Every circumstance, every situation is different.
Yep. Let's go to these last 2.
These last 2. And should we just let them know what they're listening to? This is Home Sellers Advantage. You asked who we are, and I said we're Home Sellers Advantage. No, we are the Bald Brothers team. We're the Bald Brothers team. The show is Home Sellers Advantage, and you can call us directly at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253, or go to baldbrothers.tv. And real quickly, we got a couple more to go through on these new tenant laws.
Yeah, so you guys have all seen the videos on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube of someone charging something in their apartment or home, and all of a sudden that battery on that scooter blows up, catches everything on fire. Well, guess what, landlords? Tenants are now able to charge electric scooters and electric bikes in their apartments, as long as the battery meets certain safety standards.
Yep. So you cannot prohibit that in your home. There is a caveat that there need to be certain safety standards, and glad they threw that in there.
That's right.
But that's one other thing that, of course, in today's day and age, those things are popular.
That's right. And the last one here is more about affordable housing. New laws have removed barriers on churches, religious organizations, and other nonprofit colleges to build affordable housing on their land.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've seen this in our backyard. So my headquarters here for the Bald Brothers team is in Placentia, in Orange County.
Yep.
And there's a Starbucks that I like to go to on my way to the office. And every day I leave that Starbucks and I drive down this little side street, and there is a Methodist church on that street. And the church for years has looked kind of run down. Yeah. Beautiful building architecturally, but dead lawn. And clearly you can say, look, this church, its better days were behind it physically because it wasn't being maintained. And so I went to the mayor and I said, what's going on with that church? It seems like they're just letting the lawn die. And they said, oh, they're in the process of going through a building project where a builder's going to come in and build affordable housing on the remaining land. Yeah. So they're just kind of letting it die because it's all going to be going away. And now over the last 8 months, that lot, which had a small church, big land, has been transformed. They basically think of a U shape where in the middle of the courtyard of the U, the building exists. It has been updated and renovated. They built an identical one next to it, connected the two. It looks absolutely beautiful. And now surrounding in this U shape all the way around on both sides and the back, you have 2-story housing that's been built.
Multi-unit,
all connected. Beautiful architecture, brand new. It looks great, but it is high density, affordable housing. Yeah. And that church was able to subdivide their lot, go into a joint venture or some arrangement. I don't know what the legality is for them and how they arranged it, but a lot of these churches are either selling that land now for a huge profit to raise funds, or they're going into joint ventures where they'll be part owners. And this new law allows churches to do that. Yeah.
And you know, why did they enact this law? Well, we do have a housing issue in California and a shortage of housing.
But is that true with all these people leaving California?
Yeah.
And by the way, that is a recurring episode theme, recurring theme on our show. Yeah. We work with a lot of people leaving California. It's our most popular subject and the topic. Like if we go back in 2023 year in review, like that has got our most comments, our most talked about shows, our most views on YouTube. But So California has...
and by the way, it is not the goal of this show to drive people out of California.
Oh, no, we're just going to help you because you've already decided. We're just going to help you.
You've already made the decision. I had somebody accuse us of trying to get people to leave. No, we are not trying to get people to leave, but we know that this is the trend, and so we want to help with that process. And in some cases, maybe the decision isn't to leave. We can help you through that.
Yeah, in fact, that's a good point. We have helped many people move across town, but with interest rates the way they are this year, that has been very few and far between.
Yeah.
Most of the people have either left town, sold their investments, moved them out of state. Very few people have moved across town.
Yeah.
So I can't even think of one that did that.
I think we do have a few, but we have to think hard.
We would have to think hard. See, it's that few. But so, you might be thinking about leaving, and we want to just remind you that you can give us a call at 833-305-BALD. Write that down. Give us a call anytime. We'll call you back. That's our call center. They answer it 24 hours a day. And we just want to be here for you. But let me say this here. This tenant law, this California housing issue that we're at. So California passed a law that said that we currently have 12 million homes, housing units, and we need to increase that by 2.5 million. So we need to go by 20% basically and increase our housing. And every city in the entire state is required to take an allotment. And then they have to propose to the state how they're going to build that allotment by 2030.
Yeah.
So we're only 6 years away. So there's a deadline that basically they have to submit right now. And if the cities don't submit a preliminary plan and get that stamp of approval, there are builders that are waiting. They're just crouched at the door waiting to pounce, because if the city defaults on their plan or doesn't get approved, it's called a builder's remedy. Builders can go in and just tell cities, I've identified, I own this land now, I own that one, and this is what I'm going to build.
Yeah.
And the cities have lost local zoning control
over that. Wow.
Over that.
Yeah. So then this would make perfect sense why this would be removing these barriers. And,
That's right.
And what better than to have churches, religious organizations, nonprofits to build?
I'll give you an example. In Santa Monica, WS Communities dropped 14 builder remedy projects on the city at one time.
Wow.
And they said, we're going to build these 14 communities, and they're all like 10-story highs, 14 residential high-rises with a combined 4,260 units all along the beach boulevard.
Yeah.
They own the land. They bought them all. They bought the buildings. They're like, we're going to demo these. We're building residential. And the city freaked out.
Yeah.
What do we do? Because they don't have a plan in place.
Yeah.
So they pulled some of them off the market. Like they removed their projects in exchange for one really nice one. Like that was the plan. Like we're going to drop 14 on you, and then we're going to pull it back a little bit and scale it back just to get your approval.
Yeah.
Like that's just, hey, let's make it look terrible, and then we'll compromise and it's not so bad.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did.
Clever.
That's what they did. So that's what's going on in California. We've got increased housing, even though our population is decreasing, which is the mind boggler to me.
Yeah.
Why we're building more when the population is decreasing. But hopefully, maybe they're thinking that's going to turn around.
Well, the population is decreasing. A lot of the people that are leaving are homeowners and
that's correct.
And it's people who can afford to leave.
That's right.
And so that does play into all of this
that's
as
right.
well.
Another article we found that says that the average person leaving California has a tax return of about $137,000 per year, and those that are moving in have an average tax return of $75,000 per year. So you're likely to have a renter move in and a homeowner move out.
That's exactly what's happening.
That's clearly what's going on.
So, hey, that is kind of our looking forward to 2024. We've got about 30 seconds left. Aaron, what are we looking at for 2024?
Homeowners, prices are going to stay stable or go up. Interest rates are going to settle down a little bit, which will bring buyers back into the market. And so if you're looking to time the market, 2024 is a great time.
It'll be
all
better.
Of the year.
It'll be better than 2023 is what our what our projections are.
That's right. Yeah. So, and if you're interested in selling an investment property, moving it out of state, we're skilled at multifamily, industrial, as well as single-family home sales. So, happy New Year! Thanks for being with us in 2023. Todd, you go ahead and close out the show with some final words of wisdom.
You know what? Trust God.
Trust God.
Look to God. And if you don't have a relationship with Him, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about our relationship with Him.
That's right.
As we look ahead.
That's right. So God bless you. We'll talk to you next year. Thanks for listening to the All Things Real Estate Show.
The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA of Impact Properties, Inc., licensed by the California Department of Real Estate number 019222671. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv.